Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. We're going to be continuing our reading from the Nectar of Instruction, which is an authorized English presentation of Śrīla Rūpa Gosvāmī's Śrī Updeshamrita. Mukham karoti vachalam pangum langhayate girim yat kripa tamam vande Shri Gurum Deen Tarinam Paramananda Madhavam Śrī Caitanya Ishwaram Hariyam Tatsam. So these are the 11 lessons in the ancient science of Bhakti Yoga. Across 5 centuries and half the globe comes this compact guidebook of essential spiritual teaching, how to choose a guru, how to practice yoga, even where to live. And you'll find it all in this invaluable little book, originally written in Sanskrit by Śrīla Rūpa Gosvāmī, the greatest spiritual genius of medieval India, now translated and illuminated by Rupa Gosvami's modern successor, His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. The Nectar of Instruction is the key to enlightenment for all seekers on the path of spiritual perfection. So verse 5 or text 5 goes like this. Krishneti yasya giritam manasendriyeta dikshati chet pranatibhish cha bhajantam isham. Shushrushya bhajan vigyanam ananyam anya nindadi shunya ridam ipsita sang labdhya. So word to word translation goes like this. Krishna, the holy name of Lord Krishna, iti thus yasya, of whom giri in the words of speech, tam him, manasa by the mind, adriyeta one must honor, diksha initiation, asti there is, cheta if, pranitibhi by obeisances, cha also, bhajantam engaged in devotional service, isham unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, shushrusha by practical service, bhajan vigyanam one who is advanced in devotional service, ananyam without deviation, anininda adi of blasphemy of others, etc., shunya completely devoid, rhythm whose heart, ipsita desirable, sangha association, and finally labdhya by gaining. The translation: one should mentally honor the devotee who chants the holy name of Lord Krishna. One should offer humble obeisances to the devotee who has undergone spiritual initiation, that is diksha, and is engaged in worshipping the deity. And one should associate with and faithfully serve that pure devotee who is advanced in undeviated devotional service and whose heart is completely devoid of the propensity to criticize others. Purport by His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. In order to intelligently apply the 6-fold loving reciprocations mentioned in the previous verse, one must select proper persons with careful discrimination. Śrīla Rūpa Gosvāmī therefore advises that we should meet with the Vaishnavas in an appropriate way, according to their particular status. In this verse, he tells us how to deal with 3 types of devotees: the Kanishtadhikari, the Madhyamadhikari, and the Uttamadhikari. The Kanishtadhikari is a neophyte who has received the Harinam initiation from the spiritual master and is trying to chant the holy name of Krishna. One should respect such a person within his mind as a Kanishta Vaishnava. A Madhyamadhikari has received spiritual initiation from the spiritual master and has been fully engaged by him in the transcendental loving service of the Lord. The Madhyamadhikari should be considered to be situated midway in devotional service. The Uttamadhikari or highest devotee is one who is very advanced in devotional service, and Uttamadhikari is not interested in blaspheming others. His heart is completely clean and he has attained the realized state of unalloyed Krishna consciousness. According to Śrīla Rūpa Gosvāmī, the association and service of such a Maha Bhagavat or perfect Vaishnava are most desirable. One should not remain a Kanishtadhikari, one who is situated on the lowest platform of devotional service and is interested only in worshipping the deity in the temple. Such a devotee is described in the 11th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, chapter 2, verse 47. Archayam eva haraye pujam yaha shraddha yehate na tat bhakteshu chaniyeshu sa bhaktah prakritah smritaha. A person who is very faithfully engaged in the worship of the deity in the temple, but who does not know how to behave toward devotees or people in general, is called a Prakrit Bhakta or Kanishtadikari. One therefore has to raise himself from the position of Kanishtadikari to the platform of Madhyamadikari. The Madhyamadikari is described in Srimad Bhagavatam 11th canto, 2nd chapter, verse 46 in this way. Ishvare tad adhineshu balisheshu dvishtatsu cha prema maitri kripopeksha yaha karoti sa madhyamaha. The Madhyamadikari is a devotee who worships the Supreme Personality of Godhead as the highest object of love, makes friends with the Lord's devotees, is merciful to the ignorant, and avoids those who are envious by nature. This is the way to cultivate devotional service properly. Therefore, in this verse, Śrīla Rūpa Gosvāmī has advised us how to treat various devotees. We can see from practical experience that there are different types of Vaishnavas. The Prakrit Sahajyas generally chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, yet they are attached to the women, money and intoxication. Although such persons may chant the holy name of the Lord, they are not yet properly purified. Such people should be respected within one's mind, but their association should be avoided. Those who are innocent but simply carried away by the bad association should be shown favor if they are eager to receive proper instructions from a pure devotee. But those neophyte devotees who are actually initiated by the bona fide spiritual master and are seriously engaged in carrying out the orders of the spiritual master should be offered respectful obeisances. In this Krishna consciousness movement, a chance is given to everyone without discrimination of caste, creed or color. Everyone is invited to join this movement, sit with us, take prasad and hear about Krishna. When we see that someone is actually interested in Krishna consciousness and wants to be initiated, we accept him as a disciple for the chanting of the holy name of the Lord. When a neophyte devotee is actually initiated and engaged in devotional service by the orders of the spiritual master, he should be accepted immediately as a bona fide Vaishnava, and obeisances must be offered unto him. Out of many such Vaishnavas, one may be found to be very seriously engaged in the service of the Lord and strictly following all regulative principles, chanting the prescribed number of rounds on japa beads and always thinking of how to expand the Krishna consciousness movement. Such a Vaishnava should be accepted as an Uttam Adhikari. So Prabhupada gives us the definition of the neophyte, the Madhyam and the Uttam Adhikari. A highly advanced devotee, and his association should always be sought. The process by which a devotee becomes attached to Krishna is described in Chaitanya Charitamrita Antilila, chapter 4, verse 192. Diksha kale bhakta kare atma samarpana, sai kale Krishna tare kare atma sama. So it's a beautiful verse. At the time of initiation, when a devotee fully surrenders to the service of the Lord, Krishna accepts him to be as good as himself. Diksha or spiritual initiation is explained in the Bhakti Sandarbha 868 by Śrīla Rūpa Gosvāmī. Divyam jnanam yato dadyat kuriyat papasya sankashyam tasmad diksheti sa prokta deshikais tattva ko vidayah. By Diksha, one gradually becomes disinterested in the material enjoyment and gradually becomes interested in spiritual life. We have seen many practical examples of this, especially in Europe and America. Prabhupada is continuing here. Many students who come to us from rich and respectable families quickly lose all interest in material enjoyment and become very eager to enter into spiritual life. Although they come from very wealthy families, many of them accept living conditions that are not very comfortable. Indeed, for Krishna's sake, they are prepared to accept any living condition as long as they can live in the temple and associate with the Vaishnavas. When one becomes so disinterested in material enjoyment, he becomes fit for initiation by the spiritual master. So the first prerequisite for the initiation, Srila Prabhupada describes to us, he becomes fit for initiation by the spiritual master. For the advanced advancement of spiritual life, Srimad Bhagavatam, 6th canto, 1st chapter, verse 13 prescribes tapasa brahmacharyena shamena cha damena cha. When a person is serious about accepting Diksha, he must be prepared to practice austerity, celibacy, and control of the mind and body. If one is so prepared and is desirous of receiving spiritual enlightenment, which is Divyam Jnanam, he is fit for being initiated. Divyam Jnanam is technically called Tad Vigyan, or knowledge about the Supreme. Tad Vigyanartham sa Gurum eva bhigachet. When one is interested in the transcendental subject matter of the Absolute Truth, he must be initiated. Such a person should approach a spiritual master in order to take Diksha. Srimad Bhagavatam, 11th canto, 3rd chapter, verse 21 also prescribes Tasmad Gurum Prapadyeta Jigyasuh Shreya Uttamam. When one is actually interested in the transcendental science of the Absolute Truth, he should approach a spiritual master. One should not accept a spiritual master without following his instructions, nor should one accept a spiritual master just to make a fashionable show of the spiritual life. One must be jigyasu, or inquisitive, very much inquisitive, to learn from the bona fide spiritual master. The inquiries one makes should strictly pertain to transcendental science, jigyasuhu shreya uttamam. The word uttamam refers to that which is above material knowledge. Tama means the darkness of this material world, and utta means transcendental. Generally, people are very interested in inquiring about the mundane subject matters, and everyone in the world has got this illness, which is the illness of the tongue and illness of the mind. But when one has lost such interest and is simply interested in transcendental subject matters, he is quite fit for being initiated. When one is actually initiated by the bona fide spiritual master, and when he seriously engages in the service of the Lord, he should be accepted as a Madhyam Adhikari. The chanting of the holy names of Krishna is so sublime that if one chants the Hare Krishna Mahamantra offenselessly, carefully avoiding the 10 offenses, he can certainly be gradually elevated to the point of understanding that there is no difference between the holy name of the Lord and the Lord himself. One who has reached such an understanding should be very much respected by neophyte devotees. One who knows for certain that without chanting of the holy name of the Lord offenselessly, one cannot be a proper candidate for advancement in Krishna consciousness. In Śrī Caitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela, chapter 22, verse 69, it is said, Yahar komal shraddha se kanishtha jana krame krame tenho bhakta haibe uttama. One whose faith is soft and pliable is called a neophyte. But by gradually following the process, he will rise to the platform of first-class devotee. Everyone begins his devotional life from the neophyte stage. But if one properly finishes chanting the prescribed number of rounds of Harinam, he is elevated step by step to the highest platform, Uttamadhikari. The Krishna consciousness movement prescribes 16 rounds daily because people in the Western countries cannot concentrate for long periods while chanting on the beads. Therefore, the minimum number of rounds is prescribed. However, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur used to say that unless one chants at least 64 rounds of japa, 100,000 names, he is considered fallen or patit. According to his calculation, practically every one of us is fallen. But because we are trying to serve the Supreme Lord with all the seriousness and without duplicity, we can expect the mercy of Lord Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhu, who is famously as Patita Pavan, the deliverer of the fallen. When Srila Satyaraj Khan, a great devotee of Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhu, asked the Lord how a Vaishnav could be recognized, the Lord replied, Prabhu kahe yanra mukhe shuni ek baar Krishna naam se pujya shrestha sabakar. If one hears a person say even once the word Krishna, that person should be accepted as the best man out of the common group. So this is from Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela, chapter 15, verse 106. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu continued, Ateva yandra mukhe ek Krishna naam, se ta Krishna kariha tandra samman. One who is interested in chanting the holy name of the Krishna, or who by practice likes to chant Krishna's names, should be accepted as a Vaishnava and offered respect such as such at least within one's mind. Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela, chapter 15, verse 111. One of our friends, a famous English musician, has become attracted to chanting the holy names of Krishna. Prabhupada is saying that, and we know very well who Prabhupada is referring here to. It is none other than George Harrison of the famous Beatles group. And even in his records, he has several times mentioned the holy name of Krishna. At his home, he offers respect to pictures of Krishna and also to the preachers of Krishna consciousness. In all regards, he has a very high estimation for Krishna's name and Krishna's activities. Therefore, we offer respects to him without reservation, for we are actually seeing that this gentleman is advancing gradually in Krishna consciousness. Such person should always be shown respect. And we also know that he gave his manor, his private buildings to be converted into a temple for Krishna, the famous Watford temple now, the Bhaktivedanta Manor near London. The conclusion is that anyone who is trying to advance in Krishna consciousness by regularly chanting the holy name should always be respected by Vaishnavas. On the other hand, Prabhupada is telling us that we have witnessed that some of our contemporaries who are supposed to be great preachers have gradually fallen to the material conception of life because they have failed to chant the holy name of the Lord. While giving instructions to Sanatana Gosvami, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu divided the devotional service into 3 categories. Madhyam Shastra Yukti Nahi Jane Dridha Shraddhavan Madhyam Adhikari Se Maha Bhagyavan. So this is very important instruction for all of us as well. A person whose conclusive knowledge of the Shastras is not very strong, but who has developed firm faith in the chanting of Hare Krishna Mahamantra and who is also undeterred in the execution of his prescribed devotional service should be considered a Madhyamadhikari. Such a person is very fortunate. This is from Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela, chapter 22, verse 67. A Madhyamadhikari is a Shraddhavan, a staunchly faithful person, and he is actually a candidate for further advancement in devotional service. Therefore, in the Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela, chapter 22, verse 64, it is said, Shraddhavan Janahaya Bhakti Adhikari Uttam Madhya Kanishta Shraddha Anusari. One becomes qualified as a devotee on the elementary platform, the intermediate platform. So the elementary platform is the Kanishta platform, the intermediate platform is the Madhyam, and the highest platform is the Uttam of devotional service according to the development of his Shraddha, that is the faith. Again in Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela, chapter 22, verse 62, it is said, Shraddha Shabde Vishwas Kahe Sudrida Nishchaya Krishne Bhakti Kaile Sarva Karma Krit Haya. By rendering transcendental service to Krishna, one automatically performs all subsidiary activities. This confident, firm faith favorable to the discharge of the devotional service is called Shraddha. So, such a beautiful definition of Shraddha has been given in Chaitanya Charitamrita. Shraddha, faith in Krishna, is the beginning of Krishna consciousness. Faith means strong faith, not just your faith which goes up and down as the waves in the ocean. The words of the Bhagavad-Gita are authoritative instructions for faithful men, and whatever Krishna says in Bhagavad-Gita is to be accepted as it is. I'll repeat. The words of Bhagavad-Gita are authoritative instructions for the faithful men, and whatever Krishna says in Bhagavad-Gita is to be accepted as it is, without interpretation. This was the way Arjun accepted Bhagavad-Gita. After hearing Bhagavad-Gita, Arjun told Krishna, Sarvam etad ritam manye yan mam vadasi Keshava. O Krishna, I totally accept as truth all that you have told me. This is from Bhagavad-Gita, chapter 10, verse 14. This is the correct way of understanding Bhagavad-Gita, and it is called Shraddha. It is not that one accepts a portion of Bhagavad-Gita according to his own whimsical interpretations and then rejects another portion. This is not Shraddha. Shraddha means accepting the instructions of Bhagavad-Gita in their totality. Especially the last instruction, Sarva Dharman Parityajya Mam Ekam Sharanam Vraja. Abandon all varieties of religion and just surrender unto me. This is Bhagavad-Gita's gist, we can say, verse 66 from chapter 18. When one becomes completely faithful in regard to his instruction, to this instruction, one's strong faith becomes the basis for advancing in spiritual life. When one fully engages in chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, he gradually realizes his own spiritual identity. Unless one faithfully chants the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, Krishna does not reveal himself. Seval mukhe hi jevadu, though swayam eva sfurti adah bhakti rasamrit sindhu. First wave, second chapter, verse 234. We cannot realize the Supreme Personality of Godhead by any artificial means. We must engage faithfully in the service of the Lord. Such service begins with the tongue. Sevan mukhe. Mukh is the mouth. Jivado. Jiva is the tongue. Which means that we should always chant the holy names of the Lord and accept Krishna Prasad. We should not chant or accept anything else. When this process is faithfully followed, the Supreme Lord reveals himself to the devotee. When a person realizes himself to be an eternal servitor of Krishna, he loses interest in everything but Krishna's service. Always thinking of Krishna, devising means by which to spread the holy name of Krishna, he understands that his only business is in spreading the Krishna consciousness movement all over the world. Such a person is to be recognized as an Uttamadhikari, and his association should be immediately accepted according to the 6 processes, Dadati, Pratigrihanati, etc., which was the previous verse. Indeed, the advanced Uttamadhikari Vaishnava devotee should be accepted as a spiritual master. Everything one possesses should be offered to him. So there are many Uttamadhikaris around us. You just need to have the subtle vision. You should be able to distinguish the Kanishta from the Madhyam and Madhyam from the Uttam. Because you are known by the company you keep, whether it is in material life or in the spiritual life. Everything one possesses should be offered to him. It is enjoined that one should deliver whatever he has to the spiritual master. The brahmachari in particular is supposed to beg alms from others and offer them to the spiritual master. However, one should not imitate the behavior of an advanced devotee or Mahabhagavat without being self-realized, for by such imitation one will eventually become degraded. In this verse, Śrīla Rūpa Gosvāmī advises the devotees to be intelligent enough to distinguish between the Kanishtadhikari, Madhyamadhikari and Uttamadhikari. The devotee should also know his own position and should not try to imitate a devotee situated on a higher platform. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur has given some practical hints to the effect that the Uttamadhikari Vaishnava can be recognized by his ability to convert many fallen souls to Vaishnavism. So our Acharyas have even given us the kind of litmus test as well. So we can even check that who is on the Uttamadhikari platform and who is on the lower platforms. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur is telling us that Uttamadhikari, a Vaishnava, is the one who has the ability to convert many fallen souls to Vaishnavism. And we can see there are many Such Adhikaris around us who are in this rung, who are on this rung of the Uttamadhikari. One should not become a spiritual master unless he has attained the platform of Uttamadhikari. So that is the first prerequisite, that you should be Uttamadhikari, because you are going to initiate so many people into Krishna consciousness. You're going to bring so many into this movement, and you should have this ability to make new devotees. A neophyte Vaishnav or a Vaishnav situated on the intermediate platform can also accept disciples, but such disciples must be on the same platform. So Madhyamadhikari can have only the Madhyamadhikari disciples. And it should be understood that they cannot advance very well toward the ultimate goal of life under his insufficient guidance. Ultimately, the guidance of the Uttamadhikari is needed, guidance of the spiritual master is needed. Therefore, a disciple should be careful to accept an Uttamadhikari as the spiritual master. So this verse tells us very nicely how we should go about to choose a spiritual master. So we'll continue our reading from verse number 6 next time, from the Updeshamrita, that is the Nectar of Instruction, next time. Thank you for joining. Hari Om Tat Sat, Hare Krishna. And we are fortunate enough that we are going to be listening to